All right, happy Cruppers. We've got it. We have the stubby Votann. They're not squats. They're totally squats. And they are alive, and the Space Dwarves are ready to bring it to us. So this is the hearthband. Now, initial impressions off this detachment. When I'm reading through it, it seems roughly the same strength as the current index. They lose a few things. They gain a few things. When I read through all of it, though, it honestly strikes me as though this is, once again, one of those detachments that is future proof, because it seems like they are making this detachment in the context of a potential codex that's coming, because there's probably going to be some reworks that make this actually even better. Although, as of right now, you could probably run it to pretty close to the same results as the index. I know some people are going to bemoan the loss of judgment tokens, which I do understand that. I think judgment tokens are really important, and that is a serious weakness that this detachment has, because they're not going to be generating the same judgment tokens as the other one. But I also think that we're going to see some other pretty interesting builds that can come out of it. So let's break it down. We've got the detachment rule of the methodical annihilation. Each time a Leagues of Votann model from your army makes an attack with a weapon, excluding blast weapons, that targets the closest eligible target or a target that is within engagement range of said model's unit, you get to re-roll a hit roll of 1. So this isn't exactly the same as army-wide reroll hit rolls of 1, but it's still pretty good, because it's not that you're always going to be shooting the closest target, but a lot of times the closest target is the unit that you're going to be shooting. And you can kind of control this a little bit by killing the closest target with another unit before you activate the one unit. So there's ways kind of around it. So it's nice to be able to get reroll hit rolls of 1, because as far as I know, in the previous detachment, there's 0 access to rerolls in Votann. So this is cool. You're starting to get a little reroll. And there are plenty of units in Votann that might like this. Things that are using, say, your conversion beamers for the sustained D3s. So there's a lot of units that actually do enjoy rerolling hit rolls of 1. Then the second part of the detachment rule is going to be if your unit is a Call, Einhar, Hearthguard, or Uthar the Destined unit, improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. Now, this is under this same, so you can see how they're bullet points. So this also does require that you're targeting the closest eligible target or target that is within engagement range of that model's unit. So right off the bat, one of my initial impressions is like, oh, okay, this is a huge buff to Hearthguard's shooting, because now they're going to get AP on all of their shots, or they gain extra AP on, say, their plasmas. But it's also going to be a lot harder for them to get the judgment tokens, as one of my mods pointed out when we were discussing this in the Discord, which all of you should join so that you can get the most up-to-date tactical advice possible. Become a member by becoming a YouTube member, or and my coffee, which is in the link in the description down below. Either way, you can join the members-only Discord and get access to all the spicy good. All right, so if you're a Hearthguard unit, you get bonus AP and you get to reroll hit rolls of 1. If you're not a Hearthguard, Call, or if they're the Destined unit, then you're just getting reroll hit rolls of 1 against this closest eligible unit, which is cool. Now let's look at some of these enhancements. They are fascinating-ish. The Bastion Shield is actually a pretty dang cool one. For 25 points, Leagues of Votann model only. Each time a ranged attack targets the bearer's unit, if the attacking model is within 12 inches of the bearer's unit, worsen the AP characteristic of said attack by 1. Now, this is actually pretty cool, and I think we're going to want this on an Einhar champion or a Call, depending on how we want to do things. As we'll see in a little bit, so this is just a little foreshadowing, but I just kind of want to break this combination down for you. You are going to get a 6-inch deep strike stratagem in here. You're not allowed to charge after doing that deep strike strat, though. So probably with a Call, I would think, is what you want to put this on. But when you deep strike within 6 inches, your enemy's entire army is going to be really close to that unit, and when they want to start shooting you, chances are going to be really high. A lot of them will be within 12 inches, meaning you're going to be getting Armor of Contempt when they shoot you back, which is pretty dang powerful when you can stack it with the fact that you can pretty much assure that you're going to be getting cover and all of these things. All right, let's talk about the second enhancement. This is going to be the Quake Multi-Generator for 15 points, only on a Call. In your shooting phase, after the bearer has shot, select one enemy unit, excluding Titanic units, hit by one or more of those attacks, and until the start of your next turn, that enemy unit is suppressed. While a unit is suppressed, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Pretty useful. It's always nice to just make your enemies -1 to be hit, and it's pretty easy to proc that, seeing as the Call has, I think he's got, what is it, a 24-inch gun? And he's probably going to be hitting, right? Let me just check that before I 100% break that down for you. Yeah, okay, so he's got a 24-inch gun with the Autarch pattern combi bolter, and he's just got to hit once to make a unit -1 to be -1 to be hit, or -1 to hit, not be hit. So it's kind of powerful little debuff that you can throw on a nasty that you don't want your opponent to shoot you with next turn. Then we have the Iron Skyne for 10 points. If you have 10 points, you'll take it. If you don't have 10 points, you won't take it. Leagues of Votann model only, add 2 to the bearer's wounds characteristics. Probably, I would think, on a, Ironheart Champion? Because Ironheart Champions, they get to stand up. No, that was the enhancement that allows them. Yeah, I'm not sure where you put this. It's just, it's like if you have 10 points and you got an extra enhancement slot, why not? Then we have the High Call model only. Each time a model in the bearer's unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if it has not fought this phase, roll 1d6 on a 4-up. They have a 4-up fight on death in the unit. Probably okay. I think one of the things that we're probably going to see in this particular detachment is that we're going to be looking at some melee potential Hearthguard builds, because they're going to get that bonus AP in melee. They're always going to be rerolling hit rolls of 1. I think that really does benefit them in melee quite a bit. But the reality is your Hearthguard are so expensive, you're really not going to be spamming them. I can't really consider, honestly, putting an extra 30 points on a very expensive Hearthguard unit that's led by a call. Maybe. I'd like to hear what some of you Votann players out there think about this one. It just seems a little expensive. But let's look at some of these strats, because some of these strats are pretty cool. We have the Breckernauts. This is 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 call, Uther the Destined, or Hearthguard unit. So that can be any Hearthguard unit or the normal warriors that are led by a call or Uther. And that are selected by the targets of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, models in your unit have a 4-up invulnerable save. This is probably going to come into handy with warriors a lot more often than it would with Hearthguard, seeing as Hearthguard are already a 2-up. And generally, when you're a 2-up and you're in cover, you're going to be saving on a 4-up against almost everything anyway. Like Last Cannons, you're still saving up on a 4-up. Once you get to Meltas, suddenly it can be worse. Or if they're ignoring cover, things like that with AP3. But you're probably typically not going to be using this on your Hearthguard all that often, I would think. Now, in the fight phase, perhaps. Like if I charge you, say, with Sanguinary Guard, I have the AP3. That could actually be really, really good. Then we have Unyielding Aggression. This will be a 1 CP stratagem. Your movement phase just after a Leagues of Votann infantry unit from your army falls back. And it is important that this says infantry. That Leagues of Votann infantry unit, until the end of the turn, you're eligible to shoot and declare charge in a turn in which you fell back. Always very valuable on some of these like Hearthguard units that are super expensive and you need them activating every single turn. But it's not quite as flexible as the other detachment, as I'm pretty sure the index detachment gave you just fall back and shoot and charge, if I'm not mistaken. But we're talking about this detachment right now, which has its own very cool things. So let's get on with it. Next one is Sure of Purpose. 1 CP in the fight phase, 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a pylon or consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of up to 3. This is so powerful. When this strat pops up, it's just so good. And I really feel bad for people like the Custodes who get this kind of strat, but it's way, way worse. Flat 6-inch pylon or consolidation is really good. Now, some armies get it even better, where it goes to flat pylon and consolidate, like, say, the new Death Guard detachment. That's even better. But moving just straight up 6 is very, very solid. So good for them. Especially that's going to help a lot with the fact that your dwarves are just slow. So if you make like one of those long bomb charges with your Hearthguard units, and maybe you just don't quite get everyone where they need to go, so with a 3-inch pylon, you're still only fighting with a few models, well, this is really going to help with that. Then we have Materialization Matrices. The reinforcement step of your movement phase. Please read the strat. It says your movement phase, not your opponent's, meaning you cannot use this to wrap the ingress. 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army that is in reserves and has Deep Strike. So it only applies to models with Deep Strike. And as far as I know, someone correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I know, the only units that have Deep Strike in Votann is going to be the Hearthguard and the characters who happen to have the teleportation crest while they're leading the Hearthguard. I could be wrong about that, so please correct me if I am, but I don't think I'm breaking wrong. So basically, this only applies to your Hearthguard for now. This could change with the Codex and with rewrites and things like that. Until the end of the phase, when your unit is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy units. It is a 6-inch Deep Strike, and your unit is not eligible to declare a charge after doing it. I really think in this particular detachment, because they lost the Judgment tokens, they probably could have gone ahead and just been like, no, you can still make a charge. It would be very, very strong, but it's one unit that's doing it, and it's a very expensive unit that would be doing it. But this is what they got. And honestly, Hearthguard units, when they drop within 6, suddenly they're going to be at +1 AP, and they're rerolling hit rolls of 1. And don't forget, you can also put this on your Hearthguard unit that you're going to give the pseudo Armor of Contempt enhancement, which is very, very powerful on Hearthguard units. Then their 2 CP stratagem is going to be the Superior Craftsmanship. This is in the fight phase. 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle, add 1 to the damage. This is strong. This really, really, really hurts your opponents. It's 2 CP, so it is pretty pricey, but just adding 1 to the damage straight up, oof. That can take you from damage 2 to damage 3, which means suddenly you're really hurting Satans, because now when they have damage, it goes down to damage 2, not damage 1. This can take you from, I think Berserks are already flat damage 3? I always forget this one. Let me just check it real fast. Yeah, so with Berserks, if they're running the Concussion Maul, they already are damage 3. So that can take you to damage 4? Ooh, the Twin Concussion Gauntlets are damage 2, goes up to damage 3, and now it's Twin Linked. There's a lot of interesting play with this. This is a very good stratagem, and it's going to open up some serious melee plays from the dwarves. Then we have Fury of the Hearth for 1 CP. Your shooting phase, 1 Einhar Hearthguard unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons, excluding blast weapons, equipped by models in your unit, have the Rapid Fire 1 ability. This makes me think that we really probably want to be leaning more into plasma in this detachment, because suddenly you're going to go up to extra bonus AP from targeting the closest enemy unit. You're still rerolling hit rolls of 1. You're in Rapid Fire, so you're getting a bonus plasma shot, and you're still getting the bonus AP. This honestly doesn't sound bad to me. I'm not sure it outpaces the previous index attachment where you get sustained hits 2 against a judge token, but it certainly gives us something to think about. And I think it's worth considering, because if we did that, we're going to get a strength 8 AP 4 damage 2 plasma gun. That's going to be hitting on 3s, rerolling hit rolls of 1 with lethal, and it's going to be 2 shots, not 1 shot. So I really do think that plasma becomes pretty darn nasty. And if you are shooting against a judge token, you're hitting on 2s, right? So I do think that this is a very good combination, and this detachment does actually really enjoy our Hearthguard units. So I think in this detachment, we're running the Hearthguard. We're running units that have like critical hits. So we love the conversion beams on our Hexan land fortresses, because now suddenly hitting on 4s on a 4-up is sustained D3 as long as you're like outside of 12 inches but you're within 24 inches. And now you also get to reroll the 1s. I think it's actually pretty dang good, and you're probably going to see this played. Now, like I said, I'm not sure this is sold on this being better than the index. I think it's probably about the same power strength. Initially, people are going to be concerned about how do I play without the guaranteed judgment tokens at the beginning of the game. But I think with some of the new jank that you get from this detachment, you're going to realize, okay, there are new ways to play. One of those ways, it will probably be spamming warriors a little bit more, maybe taking 2 10-mana warriors, splitting them up into 4 5-mans, just using Sagittars, putting them on objectives early to kind of let your opponent kill them to start proccing the way that you use your judgment tokens, and getting sticky objectives in the middle. So there's ways around it, and there's ways to do it. I'm really interested to find out how people are going to innovate and use this new detachment. If you have ideas, post them down below. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll be back with a little tactical video later tonight, and I got a big announcement for you at the end of the week. So stay tuned. Until next time, crop on. Bye-bye.